Okay, so today I have decided to do a homeschool haul video. Since I have had kids, I've known I've always wanted to homeschool them. My mom homeschooled me from the 7th grade forward. So I did spend kindergarten through 6th grade in public schools, and I really did not do well in public schools. I know that homeschool is sometimes a controversial subject, but one thing that people who approach me do ask is, where do you know where to start? So I decided to show some books that I've got on how to homeschool. Now keep in mind, my boys are only 2 and 4 years old, so I still have like a little bit more time to get through this. And because my oldest son's birthday falls in September, he would not be in public school pre-K until next school year. So this year he wouldn't even be in pre-K. He would be, they call it something else, the one before pre-K. I want to say early childhood learning is what they call it. And like not everyone can get into it. I don't know. I haven't kept up because I wasn't going to put my kids in public school anyways. But I'm going to show you some of the things I got to try that I've gotten from like Facebook groups and other websites about homeschooling on what books you need if you decide to homeschool from the very beginning. The first book I've gotten is Teaching from Rest, a Homeschooler's Guide to Unshakable Peace by Sarah Mackenzie. So Teaching from Rest. This is it. If you do want to homeschool, I should warn you that this one is faith-based, so very Christian. I have not read it yet. This is stuff that came in the mail yesterday, so I haven't actually read any of this stuff yet. I'm not sure if you can see that. But that's the first book, and I might do reviews on these as I slowly read them. This one is Home Learning Year by Year, How to Design a Homeschool Curriculum from Preschool through High School by Rebecca Roop. Basically everyone, even people who aren't Christian, which by the way, there are homeschoolers who are very atheists and very, I wouldn't say anti-Christian, but they hate the fact that when they say they homeschool that people automatically assume they're religious fanatics and they're not even Christian. You do come by that occasionally. You just kind of, it is something that happens. I'm really trying to avoid the whole religious talk. I am Christian, and that's basically where I would just kind of want to leave it. But this is a faith-based one. Another faith-based one, but there's a lot of stuff in here that even people who aren't in a faith-based curriculum seem to love, because, here, let me see if I can get the cover good, because it just, like, year by year, each year is a segment starting with preschool and it goes all through high school, and it just gives you a list of stuff that she's tried that she thinks works best, and then tells you why it worked best for her family. So if there's differences between your family and her family, you can say, okay, well, that's not going to go. This is a book that I really wanted because my mom, I can remember how frustrated she was during my high school years. She would buy, homeschool curriculums are super expensive. I know public school, like school supplies list, are getting to where they're ridiculously expensive. That's how much a homeschool curriculum can cost, and then it may be something that your child doesn't even use, or it wasn't what you thought it was. So this is kind of a review of things that would work for you that are cheap. And she doesn't usually tell you to buy curriculums from what I've read. I haven't actually read this book yet. But from what people have been saying online, she just suggests things that would help from each school grade, and I think that would be really useful. So this is probably the first one I'm going to read, because I'm probably just going to read the preschool section, and then next year I'll read the kindergarten section, and so on. The next book I got is The Core, Teaching Your Child the Foundations of Classical Education by Leigh A. Bortons. It might be pronounced Lee, I'm not sure. Leigh and Lee, I've known both people with this name, and they've pronounced it different ways because, you know, unique names these days. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that one. But here's this. And there's the author's name. I wonder if it'll flip it in the video. I don't know. I hope not. That would look really just dumb on my part. This is actually the one book I got that I have read. I read it about 6 or 7 years ago. It was not faith-based from what I remember, but it just had a lot of good tips and was very inspirational on how anyone can homeschool. You don't have to be a stay-at-home mom. You don't have to be a parent unit. You can be a single mom with sole custody of your kids. It's just very inspirational how to work homeschooling in if it is important for you, which, you know, for some people they really want to, but they just can't figure out how. I am married and I am a stay-at-home mom, so I will probably have a much easier time of it. But there is just so much good information in here. And I really like the idea of a classical education. Like, one of the things I've noticed about public schools, it might just be where I am. I live in rural Texas, so it might just be where I am. I'm not saying this about all public schools, but it seems like they don't really focus on critical thinking or history a lot. And so I really want to bring those in, and that is considered a classical education now, according to this book. I'm not sure if it is all over, but where I am, it's certainly applicable, applies, and I always mess up that word. So I am going to use lots of stuff in here, and it's just a good book to have that you read over and over if you ever get stuck in the homeschool rut, which from what I've gathered, happens a lot, because I'm not just going by my mom homeschooling. I've actually recently joined a homeschool group, Facebook group to my locale, and there's like over 1,000 homeschoolers in my area, even though I live in rural Texas. And not all of them are super like religious fanatics. There are just normal people too. And this is like one book that everyone can agree on is just very inspirational and tells you where you can go if you feel stuck or you feel like it just can no longer be an option, even though you think it's important and you don't feel like public schools gives you the best of everything for your kid. So that is a great book to have. Next one, Educating the Wholehearted Child. It's by Clay Clarkson and Sally Clarkson. I honestly have no idea. It says Wholehearted Christian Home, so again, I'm guessing a Christian-based one. No one online says why this is a good book, but it came up repeatedly, and people just said they loved it. It was on sale when I was buying the other books, so I just went ahead and threw it in the cart, because there might be something useful in there. And even if you don't like everything in a book, you can just take out the parts that are useful for you and your kids, and you can just get rid of the bad stuff that you feel like is not useful. And that is something, you don't have to agree with everything an author says for a book to be useful to you. You can just take out the parts that are. And that is one thing I think a lot of people have trouble with, because there's just one thing they can't get past and therefore the whole book is trash. No. You can just take out what you need. And again, I have absolutely no idea what's in this book, but it came up repeatedly, so I'm going to read it, and I might do another video review on that. Those are all the books I have on the how to homeschool. Like I said, I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, so it's really just kind of not schooling right now. Like, we do coloring pages I print off the internet for free. I kind of go over the ABCs and 1 through 10. In fact, I bought flashcards. That's how I taught my children 1 through 10 numbers and their first words, really. But I went ahead and got some more flashcards because I realized flashcards are super cheap. The pack of flashcards is like $2.73 off Amazon, and they work really well, and kids love them. Or maybe it's just my kids, but my kids love flashcard time. They're like, "Oh, Mom, can we do school?" Because yeah, I've already gotten to where they call it school time as flashcards. We'll sit down maybe once or twice a day for like 5 to 10 minutes and just go over it and over, and it seems to stick, and they love it. So I have the numbers flashcards at home and first words, and so I bought some more flashcards. Here I have phonics. I'm not really trying to teach my 4-year-old to read yet, but I thought phonics would be useful. He has a little bit of a speech delay, and it's a little bit harder to understand him than most kids his age. He does hang out with some kids his age, and I noticed that he's a little bit behind. I don't think it's because of homeschooling. I think it's because his dad and I both had speech impediment classes when we were in elementary. My husband went for 2 years. I went for 1 year in elementary. And I know a lot of teachers thought I would never talk. And we did not pronounce words well. I still don't pronounce words well. I don't enunciate well. And yeah. But I'm hoping that this will help my son get to where he speaks a little bit more clear, so at least people can understand him. Not so he can speak perfectly, but just to where they can understand him. So we'll see how that goes. And I also got colors and shapes. My 4-year-old actually knows all his colors and shapes. Thank you, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. This is more for my 2-year-old. And we actually go more over the letters and what sounds the letters make with my 4-year-old. And that seems to be fun for him, while the 2-year-old actually tells me what the picture is, what color it is, and what shape it is. And then I got these. I actually had a set of these before my 4-year-old ripped them up a few months ago. So my 4-year-old actually knows all his letters, of course, but my 2-year-old is starting to work on them, and so I had to get another pack because, again, $2.73, and they teach them. I mean, if you just go over it every day, once a day for a year, that's all I needed with my 4-year-old. And yeah, between his second and third birthday, he learned all his ABCs by sight. And I'm imagining my 2-year-old will probably be the same way. It's not like something I'm super pushing. He doesn't have to learn it by the time his third birthday comes around. It's just I work with them when they seem interested in learning, and they do seem to pick up the flashcards really, really easy. And so, yeah, that is my homeschool haul for what I'm going to get started. And I'm going to try not to buy anything else until next year when my son would actually be in pre-K. But I'm going to see what these books say and see if they give me any ideas what to buy, so I waste as little money as possible trying to find things to actually teach my kids. All right, that's everything. Bye.